It's story time. Story time. Let's read it story time. Story time. I'm geeked to story time. Story time. You and me, it's story time. Story time. Let's achieve. Hello, my beautiful K crew, and welcome to story time with me, Kayla. How is your Saturday going? As you can see, we get a bonus read it aloud this week. And today, of course, it's another special Arthur feature. Now, before I introduce our Arthur, October is National Bullying Prevention Month, which makes tonight's book so important. And so, we will take a look at a book from Arthur J.K. Rox, who is a licensed professional counselor and has written a book that is perfect just for this month and all the other months all year round. And so, without further ado, the book we'll be reading tonight is called Just Kick Rocks. Story by J.K. Rox and illustrated by Victor Zimora. You ready to see what this book is all about? Ready, set, let's begin. Just Kick Rocks. Story by J.K. Rox. Illustration by Victor Zimora. Here we go. She signed it for us. It says, Kayla, thank you for your support. It means the world to me. J.K. Rox. Thank you, J.K. Rox. And she has an acknowledgement page. She wants to thank so many of her family and friends. And she also wants to give a special thanks to the younger generation of family, because throughout the book, in the front and the back, they actually gave their own experiences with bullying, just to show that bullying is real and it needs to stop today. Here we go. Today is my first day being a 6th grader, and I'm so nervous. My big brother James keeps telling me how different 6th grade is compared to 5th. I have to choose the right clothes, say the right things, and talk to the right people. Ugh, this is so hard. Why do I have to make all these decisions just to be a 6th grader? Ugh. Kevin, come eat your breakfast before your bus gets here, my mom says as usual. But this time, I can't eat. I'm too nervous. My stomach feels funny, like something is moving around inside of it. I guess that's what they call butterflies. Maybe they're 6th grader butterflies. He's worried. The bus is coming! The bus is coming! I yelled to my brother as I ran out the door. To my surprise, I got on the bus and saw most of my friends from last year. Whoa, this is so cool. I know mostly everyone on here. What was James saying? What was all that stuff about doing the right this and that? Wearing the right whatever? 6th grade is going to be the best year ever. As soon as I got to school, I took out my schedule so that I could know where I needed to be. I walked with a few of my friends to our first classroom, but when we got there, our teacher, Miss Ginger, showed us to our seats. She said, Kevin, your seat is over here. This sucks, I thought. I have to sit away from my friends? My stomach started to feel funny all over again, and this time it didn't feel like butterflies. As Miss Ginger was telling us about our class and what to expect during the first day of school, something hit my chair really hard. Bang! I turned around with a mean look on my face, just like my brother taught me. But it didn't stop. In fact, the kids behind me were laughing because they were kicking my chair. Bang, bang, bang! The rest of the day seemed to go fine until I was walking to the bus. That's when I noticed a small group of kids all looking straight at me. They were the same kids that were kicking my chair in class. Now they were walking up behind me, whispering and calling me names. Hey, stupid, one kid said. Hey, you, new kid, come over here. Get over here now, punk. Another yelled to me. I hurried and ran fast to the bus. I got that feeling in my stomach again and felt that I wanted to cry. I wish my friends were around all of the time. I bet those bullies wouldn't pick on me then, especially that big kid, Alex. But sometimes my friends had other friends they walked with or had different classes, so I would have to walk alone. Hmm. The next day, the dreaded happened. I saw Alex coming towards me. He is the biggest kid in the sixth grade, the leader of the bullies, the kid that picks on everybody he can. Immediately, my stomach started to hurt again because he's walking toward me. I didn't know if I should run or act like I didn't see him coming. I looked the other way and froze in my tracks. All of a sudden, I flew into the lockers, and all my books and folders scattered all over the floor. Alex caught me by surprise and shoved me real hard as he walked by. Mm, that ain't cool. Because would Alex want him to push him into the lockers? The teachers were right there and said nothing. They looked at me. I looked at them, and they went into their classroom. It's like they didn't notice anything, or maybe they didn't care. I hate this school. I wish I was at my old school, where I knew everyone. I just want to run and never come back. The next day, Alex and his friends started laughing at me and my friends, saying we weren't cool and were lame. It just wouldn't stop. Alex just kept on running his mouth. I tried to ignore him as much as I could, but that wasn't working either. The next day, I had to stay after school and wait for my mom to pick me up. I saw Alex sitting outside by himself. I thought about all the things my brother taught me about how to not let anyone pick on me and not be scared. I mustered up all of the energy I had in me and yelled, "So, you're weak now that your boys aren't here, huh?" I was so scared, but I couldn't let him know that. "What you say?" Alex responded. "I bet you won't say it to my face." All I could think to do was kick rocks. I kicked them so hard towards him, then I ran away. I ran so fast he couldn't see me. I headed straight for the bathroom and into a stall. I jumped on top of the toilet so that he couldn't see my feet. In no time, Alex came in looking for me, saying, "Oh, I'm gonna get him. He don't talk mess and kick rocks at me and think he's gonna get away with it. I'm gonna show him." He huffed out loud as he hurried out of the bathroom. When I finally heard Alex leave, I felt a sense of pride. I felt that I got him back. But then, wait, I ran. I ran from him. I didn't stand up to him like my brother had talked about. I couldn't help myself, so I started crying. I cried like crazy and couldn't stop. This has to be the worst year ever, I thought to myself. Nervous and shaking, I snuck out of the bathroom and darted around looking for Alex. Thank goodness there was no Alex in sight. As I crept back outside, I saw my mom's car. Yes! I ran as fast as I could and dove in the car. "Go, Mom, go! Pull off, please!" I said. If things weren't bad enough, now my mom looked at me and laughed. "Oh, you silly boy. You seem to be in an awful hurry," she said. "Yes, I am. Will you please just go?" I begged her as she just sat there. She didn't even ask if anything was wrong. It's like nobody cared. First the teachers, now my mom. I looked on my phone, and guess what I see? Everyone texting and posting about what happened and how Alex was going to beat me up the next day. So he's feeling unheard right now because the adults that he thought he could trust aren't really helping. The next day at lunch, I couldn't eat. All I could do was think about what to do if Alex came looking for me. My head hurt and my stomach felt funny inside, so I asked the teacher if I could go to the nurse. "No," she said. "The day is almost over." I couldn't believe it and thought, see, they don't like me either. Nobody wants to help me. I just want to get an early start to avoid crazy Alex. Ugh, my stomach hurts. Why me? What makes Alex and his crew come after me? They used to bother everyone. Now they only bother me. I'm tired of it and have to do something about it. So I... Which way do you think I solved my own bullying problem? Read each of the 3 scenarios with a trusting adult and explain which one you think I should have chosen and why. Then continue reading to see which one I actually did choose. So we're going to read 3 scenarios, and you with a trusted adult can go ahead and, or if you're with a class, this is a class, and the class can discuss in groups. So scenario 1. Stood up to Alex, the bully, and waited for him after school. I promised myself the next time he threw a rock at me, I was going to throw one back at him. So I did just that. As soon as Alex threw the first rock, we started fighting. We fought long and hard until a teacher finally broke us up and dragged us off to the principal's office. Both of us got suspended from school because I was too embarrassed to tell our principal that I was being bullied. Should I tell the principal what's been going on? Scenario 2. Ran all the way home when Alex showed up because my house wasn't that far from school. When I got home, I was out of breath from running. I didn't notice that Alex was no longer behind me. I burst into the house and fell out on the floor, exhausted and trying to catch my breath. My sister jokingly asked, "Why are you out of breath?" "Because I ran home. I had to go to the bathroom," I said, panting like a dog. After a while, I went into my room, closed my door, and thought about how I just didn't want to be here anymore. How easy it would be if I didn't have to deal with being bullied all the time. Even when I got on the computer, everyone was laughing at me. I hate my life. I wish I was dead. Kevin was very sad and thought to himself, my family doesn't care. I don't have a lot of friends, and the ones I do have don't take up for me. Worst of all, nobody likes me. It must be something about me. I should hurt myself. Then maybe everyone will understand. Maybe someone will see. I just can't take this anymore, cried Kevin. Then he grabbed something sharp and thought about using it. I just want all the pain to go away. Or scenario 3. I stood up to the bully. Alex, stop it. Leave me alone, I yelled in his face. I'm not afraid of you anymore. Get out of my way, I hollered. Everything got quiet. No wind or anything moved. It was like the time was frozen. Alex just looked at me with a smirk on his face and said, good, because I'm not scared of you either. Slowly and suddenly, my friends, who were afraid of the bully too, stood behind me. Alex couldn't say anything. One teacher walked over and said, "Is there a problem?" That's when John spoke up and said, "Yes." After that, we were all invited in to talk to the teacher, even Alex. If you guessed that this is how I solved my problem, you got it. I chose to stand up to the bully. And guess what? So did my friends. When I did this, I felt good. I was proud of myself. You know, it was that same feeling I had when I threw rocks at him. Then came the hard part. We had to go to what the school calls meditation. We had to speak with a counselor that helped us learn how to talk to each other. We all did different kinds of activities to learn about conflict resolution. I must admit, it wasn't easy, but I was glad to see that the school was trying to do something about bullying. I have to admit that at first, I thought the bullying would get worse. But once I realized I had the courage to stand up to the bully and had good friends on my side, I knew I was headed in the right direction. Alex might look at me crazy, but I can honestly say he hasn't said a word to me about fighting anymore. And that's how you got to stand up to that bully. And if you see bullying happen, you can stand up too. You don't have to wait until it happens to you. If you see it happening to someone else, you can change that. You can stand up for them, or teach them how to stand up for themselves. And in the back of the book, she left a note for parents, teachers, and caregivers, which is very important. And also, she left a glossary. And here are the rest of the young people who told their untold stories of personal accounts of bullying. So thank you for sharing so many. And she also left an activity. So if you would like to do this activity, and if you do this activity, you can tag her on social media and also tag myself. We would love to see it. We really, really would. The end. Yes, K Crew. You know, bullying happens all over and it needs to end because nobody deserves that. Now, if you're being bullied or you see someone else being bullied, don't be afraid. Stand up and tell someone that you trust. And if you're doing the bullying, that ain't cool. Would you want someone to do that to you? I don't think so. Now, to find your copy of Just Kick Rocks and to check out all her other books, make sure to head on over to her website, and you can also find these books on Amazon, and be sure to follow on social media. So, K Crew, always remember to be brave, stand up for what's right, and to always tell someone. I thank you all so much for joining me, and thank you, J.K. Rox, for this submission, but it's time to sing goodbye. Are we ready? Here we go. Goodbye, 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 my friends. Goodbye to you. I hope to see you again. We'll soon be proud of all your work tonight. Now climb into bed and sleep real tight. On the count of 3, let's say goodnight. 1, 2,